This exhibition explores Ruskin's approach to the natural world. He insisted that if you can paint one oak leaf, you can paint the world. Ruskin didn't think of himself as an artist and always insisted that he was an amateur. Nonetheless, sketching was an important part of his practice. In works like A Study of an Oak Leaf seen here, you can just see his intense attention to the natural world. He doesn't depict a generalized leaf, but this one specific individual leaf. It's almost a kind of portrait. We see this leaf as something that has been tossed about by the wind, something that's in the process of life and decay, and these really vibrant washes of watercolor around the periphery of the work give it this sense of intense vital energy. Ruskin was a staunch defender of the artist J.M.W. Turner, who had attracted intense critique in the press of the day. He collected a variety of works by Turner, including this watercolor of Lake Geneva, which hung in his Lake District home, Brantwood.
So in the 1840s, Ruskin shifted to paying greater attention to the city of Venice, which he felt presented a nice parallel to industrial Britain, because like Britain, Venice was a maritime power, and he believed in the rise and fall of the city. There were key lessons that could be learned in a city undergoing rapid industrialization. We're very excited here to have drawn together a collection of objects that relate to Ruskin's travels in Venice and his impressions of the city. These range from his early notebooks, where he's taking architectural notes about details of the buildings around him, to his early impressions in watercolors.
From 1843 to 1860, Ruskin published a series of books that would change the face of Victorian art. This was Modern Painters. The first two volumes weren't illustrated, but the third through fifth volume contain exquisite plates which demonstrate a variety of different visual lessons Ruskin was trying to teach his readers. He wanted to teach them what and how to see. If we look closely at this book, volume 5, the final volume, we see that he's recreated one of his drawings of an oak branch in bright purple ink. And this ink is meant to make us stop in our tracks as we turn the page and notice something special about one of the most ordinary things in nature, an oak branch. Ruskin praised J.M.W. Turner for his attention to nature and the truth of nature, such as in this work, Port Roydsdale, in which Turner has captured, according to Ruskin, the truth of the cold, comfortless waves of the Northern Sea, much better, he thought, than Dutch seascape painters. But Ruskin also praised the Pre-Raphaelites for their attention to nature. The Pre-Raphaelites read Ruskin's Modern Painters and took up his edict that they should go to nature in all singleness of heart, rejecting nothing, which produced vibrant, bright landscapes such as this one, in which every single detail is meticulously recorded. These two landscapes look very different from each other, but they are both the results of close observation, which Ruskin upheld as one of the most important things for an artist to do.
As well as an artist and a critic and a social thinker, John Ruskin was also a determined educator. This print from the graphic shows one of his more memorable courses at Oxford University, where he was the Slade Professor of Fine Arts. It shows his Oxford students digging a road in the village of Ferry Hinksey, which is close to Oxford. They are impractically clad in white, they don't really know how to handle their pickaxes, and a crowd of gawkers have come to watch them try and dig this road. This illustrates one of Ruskin's most important edicts as a professor, that thinkers should be workers and that workers should be thinkers, and that every member of society should work daily to do something with their hands that is useful to mankind.
201 years after Ruskin's birth, contemporary artists are still interested in the lessons that he taught in the 19th century. Behind me is a work by the contemporary historic preservationist and artist Jorge Otero Payos, and it might look like the surface of the moon, but it's actually a cast in latex taken from the surface of the wall of the Palace of Westminster, a 900-year-old building. And in casting that building, Jorge Otero Payos has collected the surface dirt from it. So we see pollution that is collected over time. This is in response to Ruskin's writing on historic preservation, in which he claimed buildings should retain the golden stain of time.
Beginning in the 1850s, Ruskin's writings spread across the globe. He was admired by figures like Marcel Proust and Leo Tolstoy in Europe, and even spread into Asia. He was an influential figure in the life of Mahatma Gandhi, who credited Ruskin with changing the entire direction of his life. We're particularly pleased in this exhibition to include examples of Japanese ceramics and a ceramic by Bernard Leach, which speak to Ruskin's influence in Japan and specifically on the Japanese arts and crafts movement. It's Ruskin's approach to materials, to the idea of truth to materials, that became very influential there.
Ruskin was one of the first thinkers to recognize the impact that humans had on the environment and to urge people to think carefully about forces of travel and consumerism and production that caused devastation to the natural world. These are questions that we are still asking today, and it makes Ruskin more relevant than ever.